Oh, Oh my goodness, it's time. I need about another 10 minutes to get ready. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Hope you guys are doing fantastic. Dave P, Vanish, Eric, and Daniel, good to see you guys. Hope you are all having a fantastic day. Let me get rid of all of that baloney. What are we at here? Monday, December 22nd, 3 days before Christmas. Seems like we were just talking about Thanksgiving, and now here we are on to Christmas. So, guys, we're going to get started today with, I wasn't emotional, but I knew I was going to probably get emotional. I'm going to try my best not to cry because I'm not really sad, but unfortunately, I have to tell you guys that my wife and I unfortunately did not get pregnant. My wife didn't get pregnant. I'm glad I didn't get pregnant, but unfortunately, we spent all of this money and all of this time, and man, I'm frustrated. Frustrated. Because for those of you that have been around the channel, you know I'm pretty passionate about stuff, and when I do something, I'm all in. You guys, just like, you've gotten tired of hearing me talk about Texitcoin, every live stream for the last 3 or 4 months. Well, my wife and I, we kind of went back and forth for a lot of years about whether or not we were going to have any more children. And for a long time, I was kind of the opinion that I was getting to the age where I wanted to just be able to relax and enjoy life. My two children are grown now. The 2 children that I raised with my wife are 22 and 19. And so for several years, I really didn't want to have more children. But when she got me on board, man, she got me on board. And so, it's probably my own fault, but I got emotionally attached. Oh my gosh. I got emotionally attached to these 2 embryos because it's kind of like an ultrasound. When you see an ultrasound and you see, the little baby in there, obviously these embryos didn't look like that yet, but you could see where the egg was things were starting to break through the edge of it, if you will. I hate to use the term hatch, but that's probably the easiest way to explain it. It's the egg was, starting to hatch. So you could tell that these were real live embryos. Like I mentioned before, the sperm was 100%, inserted into the egg, and inception was there, and life was there. And I would, even joke around and kind of talk to my wife's belly after the process. And, we were joking around about the possibility of multiples. And so we had a couple of girls' names picked out, and we hadn't totally decided on a boy's name, but I would joke around and say, "Hey, Sophia, hey, Harper, hey, Bradley Jr., how you doing? I hope you guys are growing good in there. I'm looking forward to seeing you in 9 months." And so we really had a positive expectation. And I really believed I guess I'm not going to say every fiber of my being, but with most of my being, I really expected that we were going to get a positive pregnancy test here a couple of days ago when we did all of the tests, and find out that we were going to be parents in 9 months. And unfortunately, it just didn't happen. So it's been a kind of little bit of a emotional weekend. It's kind of weird in a way to feel brokenhearted, if you will, over something that you technically never had. Like, it would be a lot more heartbreaking to get a positive pregnancy test and 2 or 3 months from now, have my wife to have a miscarriage, something like that would really be heartbreaking. But this was heartbreaking enough, I mean, for the circumstances. But the good news is hopefully through all of this, I want to do a couple of things. Number one, I want to shine the incredible goodness of God. I want to shine that light through this circumstances, because one of the things that I very much believe is that everything is happening for us, not to us. And I also believe that God's timing is perfect. And so throughout this last few days, it's been important to me to shine that light and to believe in that thesis, because there's a lot of times it talks about in the Bible that we don't understand God's ways, and it's near impossible as humans to figure out why things happen in life. Like my father passing away almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, just like that. Literally seen him on Tuesday, gave him a big hug and kiss. He went home, talked to him Thursday night. Friday morning, he gets up, he goes to go for his morning walk, and he has a heart attack, and I never get to talk to him again, and so there's a lot of things that have happened in my life that without my faith and understanding that I'm not going to understand it. Like I'm almost 3 years later here, and I still don't understand what came out of my father passing away, the way that he did. And I've come to the conclusion that while I'm here on this earth, I'm probably never going to understand that. And this is another situation here where I don't think I'm ever going to understand why God decided that this wasn't the time. But what I am going to do is I'm going to put on my game face. I'm going to be happy. I'm so grateful for the life that I have. I'm so grateful for the children that I do have. I got to spend some time with my big son, just a few minutes ago before this live stream came on. Got to give him a great big hug and talk to him about his weekend. And so I'm so grateful for what I do have. And I still choose to believe that more children are in the cards. One of the great things about my wife and I is we ain't quitters. So we're going to put together the finances and we're going to do this all over again. It's actually going to be a little bit easier process because during the first process, we actually had, I think it was 11 total eggs that were viable for this procedure. We used 2 of them for this first procedure, but we already have 2 eggs that are frozen, that are ready to be transferred again. So we're going to literally probably sometime in the next few weeks to the next month or so, we're going to be going through this again, and we're going to have an opportunity to hopefully get a positive pregnancy test. And if for some reason we do it all again and it comes back negative, then it comes back negative. We'll just, we'll deal with that. But anyways, that's the first news that I wanted to share with all of you guys. And, so I, that's that. I was very, very much hopeful that I would be able to get on to today's live stream and, tell you guys that we were pregnant, but unfortunately we aren't. But I love you all, and I appreciate each and every one of you for all of your kind words, all of your thoughts, for those of you that have been praying for us. Thank you, thank you, thank you, and keep it all up, because like I say, we are going to be doing it again. So, hey, babe, I see that my wife is on the channel. Support the channel as usual. So with that, guys, what are we going to do to make today productive? So I'm going to do a little bit of a training or talk about something that I talked about a long, long, long time ago, but it's kind of interesting. I believe if I were to as I start to talk about it, there's a handful of you. I'm pretty sure that Eric and Dave and maybe even Vanish were listening to me talk about this a handful of months ago. I remember for sure. Tim G was on there. I don't know. He hasn't hopped in here yet, but if Tim G was around, I know he was on here. But I'm going to talk about something relatively quickly, but I also, it's super, super important, guys. And so I'm also going to point you in the direction of a video. I know I do that way more often than most normal YouTubers. Most YouTubers have no desire to ever promote another YouTube channel or tell you about another YouTube channel, but that's just not me. Like, I literally was thinking to myself, I would like to reach out to this gentleman's team and just ask him, hey, because, you know, I don't want any copyright strikes. And if you play somebody else's video on your YouTube channel, you can get these copyright strikes. And if you get 3 of them, I think they literally just delete your channel. So it's a big deal. You can't afford to get these copyright strikes. But if I had the ability to go and get permission from this person to play their YouTube channel for you, I would literally hop on and say, hey guys, instead of listening to me today, we're going to listen to this gentleman because what he is saying is so important and it's so valuable. And he says it so eloquently. He says it way better than I can say it. We're just going to listen to him. And so I am going to give you the link to his video before the day is over here so that you guys can go listen to this video, because a lot of what I'm talking about, I've heard it. I heard this message 30 years ago, roughly, and I obviously didn't take it enough to heart because I'm still working on some of these things in my life, but this is such a valuable message. And so with that, let me take a drink of my coffee and then let's get into it. I hope you guys find this as valuable as I am when I was listening to this other gentleman, and that you guys can take the information that I'm going to give you here in just a few minutes. I'm just going to give you the 10,000 foot overview, 15, 20 minute little overview of the topic. And then I'm going to give you the link to this gentleman's video, which you see here. I think I've got it pulled up on my other screen. I think it's probably 45 minutes to an hour long. Looks like it's about an hour long. So part of your homework today, guys, is going to be to listen to this video, this hour-long video, after I'm done kind of teeing it up. So with that, what are we going to talk about today? Well, we're going to talk about the difference between cash flow and cash accumulation. And I'm going to go through a little bit of a formula with you guys today. And like I said, you'll probably remember. But folks, what does it mean to be a millionaire? What do most people, including those of you that are watching and including me, even with our cryptocurrency journey, what are a lot of us trying to accomplish? We're trying to accomplish this massive crypto portfolio that becomes worth X amount of dollars. And then I think that most of us have a little bit of a vision for taking that lump sum of money and earning interest on it so that we can retire, if you will. And so really quickly, I use the word retire more than I should have in the past. And I want to get away from the word retire because I don't think that any of us really truly want to retire. Because most people, if you ask them, what are you going to do when you retire? Most of them are going to just say nothing. Like, man, I got enough money to where I don't have to do anything anymore. Well, I don't think that that's why we were put on this earth. And I don't think that that's a great desire for the reason to retire. I think that we should change retirement with a word like more like just like want to spend more time doing what I'm passionate about, what I love, spending more time with the people that are important to me, not having somebody telling me what to do. So I don't have a desire to retire. I have a desire for financial freedom, for financial independence, but it's not necessarily so that I can retire and do nothing. So, but on that note, most of us have been taught to go to school, get a good education, and get a good job. And then you go to this job and you invest in the retirement program that that company provides for you. Most of the time, the vehicle is a 401k. And your goal is throughout your life, working for 40 or 50 years, is to accumulate enough money so that when you get old, you can quit your job and have enough money to live. And I tell people all the time, I saw a couple of Facebook posts just in the last week where people were talking about how, you know, they'll be lucky if they can retire when they're 70. And one of the things that I get not really tired of hearing, but I want to address something is a lot of people think that if you ask somebody to, what do they associate with retirement? A lot of people will say, you know, well, kind of being old. Like if you ask somebody, hey, how old do you have to be to retire? Most people will tell you 65, 70. Some people might say, well, Social Security starts at 62. So a lot of people, they have this idea in their head that retirement is something that happens when you're 60, 70 years old. And I want to help you create awareness around that thought because it's not true. Retirement is not an age. Retirement is a money thing. You can retire at any age you want if you have cash flow. And so one of the things that I'm going to be teeing up for you, but one of the things that's super important to wrap your mind around is that cash flow is money that is coming in passively to you every single month versus your outflow, which is all of your bills, all of your expenses, everything that you have to spend in order to have your life. Where cash accumulation is where you're going to work, you know, with a job and you're accumulating money by investing into your 401k and even buying crypto and stuff to a certain extent is cash accumulation. And I think that both are good, but at the same time, there's a huge difference between the two. And that most people that only worry about cash accumulation and aren't thinking about cash flow, a lot of times end up with neither. And so I've talked about this formula before, but let's just say that you wanted to have $1 million nest egg. You wanted to have $1 million in the bank so that you could retire and live off of the interest. What would that look like? These numbers are going to be a little bit off. The gentleman whose YouTube video I'm going to share with you in a little bit goes into, I think, you know, the exact numbers, but you guys realize that if you were able to save $100 a month, and we're not going to worry too much about interest. I understand there would be some interest and stuff going on there, but if you were able to save $100 a month, do you realize how long it would take you to save $1 million? Somebody throw out a guess. Anybody got a guess? If you were going to save $100 a month, how long would it take you to save $1 million? I'll give you the answer for those of you that are trying to figure it out instead of just throwing out an answer. It would take you about over 800 years. Over 800 years to save $1 million at $100 a year. Now, what if you were able to save $1,000 a month? Well, if you're able to save $1,000 a month, it would still take about 83 years to save $1 million at $1,000 a month. And I don't know about you, but I think that the amount of people on this planet, even in first world countries like United States, would normally take, I don't think that a high percentage of people even living here in the United States are saving $1,000 a month. There's definitely some out there, but in order to be saving $1,000 a month or $12,000 a year, that would be 10% of about $120,000 a year income. And let's say that we're working 2,000 hours a year times $50 an hour. That's $100,000. So what percentage of the population is making more than $50 an hour and then has also created a lifestyle where they can save 10% of that? So I think we would all agree that even saving $1,000 a month would be a little bit on the rough side for the average person. So that means that even the average person is probably never going to save $1 million in their lifetime because they got 83 years. So, maybe if they started from the time they were born, they could make it happen. But I'm 50, I'm 52. I don't have 83 years. That'd make me 135. I don't have 83 years. And even if I did, I don't want to get to 135 and don't have any energy, don't have any health, don't have any ability to enjoy the money. So if you take it another step further, what if we save $10,000 a month? If we were able to save $10,000 a month, it would only take a little over 8 years, 8.3 years to save $1 million. And most of us would probably say, hey, that I could live with that. Even at my age, I'm 52. Okay, if I could save $10,000 a month and have $1 million, by the time I was 60, I feel like I would still be in good enough health to enjoy that. But once again, we all agree that $1,000 a month is a big number for most people. $10,000 a month would take you down to a percentage of the people on this earth that could save $10,000 a month. But guys, let me continue with the formula. Let's say that somehow you managed to do it. Let's say that you had a rich uncle that passed away and all of a sudden he gave you $1 million. So you had $1 million today. Now, would you be a millionaire if you got $1 million free and clear, all taxes paid, everything paid on it? You got $1 million deposited into your bank account today. Would you be a millionaire? This is not a trick question. Guys, please help me out in the chat here. If you have $1 million in the bank, taxes have been paid, it's all free and clear, it's your $1 million, would you be a millionaire? Not a trick question. Nobody's talking in the chat today. I'm going to go ahead. A lot of people, see, there it is. There's the first one. No, guys, this is part of the problem, and I'm not picking on you, 999. This is part of the problem, though, with people, is that when the answer is so obvious, it sounds like it's too good to be true. So here, I even told you guys, it's not a trick question. Yeah, if you have $1 million sitting in your bank account, taxes have been paid on it, free and clear as yours, you're a millionaire. That's what a millionaire is. Somebody that has $1 million or more in net worth is a millionaire. So absolutely, if you had $1 million sitting in a bank account, you would be a millionaire. But guys, what happens if you spend $1? If you spend $1 of that million, are you still a millionaire? No. Now you're at $999,999 error. And this is for those of you that listen to the YouTube video that I'm going to give you here shortly. He says it like that, and it's kind of funny. He's like, and that's way too long to say. But guys, that's part of the problem. If you accumulate $1 million, You finally get it accumulated. If you spend $1, you're no longer a millionaire. If you use it for, a down payment on a house, and you go out and you buy a car and you use it for life, you're not a millionaire any longer. So that's part of the problem with accumulation. But the other problem is, guys, well, not really a problem, but let's say you're not going to touch it. You're going to invest it, and you're going to live off of the interest. And just for, you could say, hey, I'm a good investor. I can get 10%. Some of you might even think you can get 12%, but I'm going to talk about, like, you really want to be super, super safe. And you've decided that you're going to invest this, and it's going to earn you 6% a year. That's going to be $60,000 a year. 6% of $1 million is $60,000 a year. So you did it. You finally somehow, you begged, borrowed, scraped, and saved and invested over the course of 10, 20, 30 years. And you finally got $1 million together. You finally got it invested. And now it's giving you $60,000 a year in income. Congratulations. That is incredible. What an amazing accomplishment. But guys, what is that? 60,000 into 12 months is what? $5,000 a month, right? So let me ask you this. If somebody were to write a book and publish it, and that book had enough book sales year in and year out and year in and year out, year after year after year after year, and they had $60,000 a year worth of sales coming in from that book, or $5,000 a month coming in from that book, is that not the same as saving $1 million and earning 6%? So I can't, this once again, where I can't word it as eloquently as this other gentleman, but my point is, if you can create $5,000 a month in passive income, you're a millionaire. I want you guys to really wrap your mind around that concept. You got one guy that scrapes and grinds and saves and invests for 10, 20, 30, 40 years and finally gets $1 million built up. That $1 million creates $60,000 a year in passive income, $5,000 a month. And what I'm here to tell you is that if you could create $5,000 a month in passive income right now, you would be just as well off and could basically call yourself a millionaire. Does that make sense? Are you tracking? If you got $1 million in the bank making you 60 grand, $5,000 a month, you're a millionaire. If you create $5,000 worth of passive income through stock dividends, or you wrote a book and your book is popular enough that it's bringing you in $5,000 a month, or maybe you're a musician, you're an artist. Love you, son. Have a good day, buddy. Maybe you're an artist, you're a musician, and you write songs, and somehow the residual incomes, the royalties from those songs that you've sang bring in $5,000 a month. You're a millionaire. And so, guys, the point of today's video is you don't have to wait 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years to get $1 million together to be a millionaire. You can create $5,000 worth of passive income right now. And this is where I really believe that this gentleman's video shines. Is I'm only, I've listened to information like this multiple times, but guys, I can't do the work for you. Most of you, though, I guarantee you, not most of you, all of you have the ability to create an income stream that is making you $5,000 a month. And you have the ability to do that in a 10th, a 20th, a 100th, a 1,000th of the time that it will take you to save and invest your way to $1 million. So what does that look like? I mean, there's a lot of different ways, and I know he's going to go into the math a little bit more, but like literally, what could you do where, like you could get people to pay you $10 a month. Well, you think, well, yourself, it's like, so if you had 500 people paying you $10 a month, that's $5,000. If you had 100 people paying you $50 a month, that's $5,000 a month. If you have 5 people paying you $1,000 a month, that's $5,000 a month. There's so many different ways to create the income. Dividend producing stock. Now, part of the problem with dividend producing stock is that you're kind of going backwards, like back to the saving and investing. But my point is if you can get the $5,000 a month coming in passive income, you could divert that into dividend producing stock and build up your cash accumulation much quicker, right? We were just talking about how the average person can't even save $1,000 a month. So imagine if you created a passive income stream of $5,000 a month. And what I'm going to try to get out of here, I don't want to talk too much today, but guess what? If you can create one $5,000 a month passive income stream, guess what you can do? You could create 2. If you can create 2, you can create 5. And this gentleman that was talking shares 3 or 4 of the core things that he does that create several $100,000 a month in passive income for him. But literally, if you guys could get to $500 a month, if you can get to $500 a month in passive income, why couldn't you get to $5,000? You just have to do the same amount of work 10 times over. And so this is where you have to come up with the creativity. You have to come up with some ideas. You're going to learn some ideas on this YouTube channel through this link, which I'm going to go ahead and grab this link here and share it with you right now. I highly would recommend, guys, that every one of you takes an hour. This is an hour-long video. Split it up. Listen to it in your car. Listen to it at the gym. But sometime over the next day or 2, preferably the quicker the better, we're getting ready to come into the end of the year. Everybody's trying to figure out what they're going to do, what their goals are going to be in 2026. Part of the reason that I'm sharing this with you guys right now today is because we all are, a bunch of cryptocurrency loving fools. And, I'm going to share my screen here real quick, but let's be honest. Get this pulled up here. So, we got Bitcoin climbing back up a little bit over the last 24 hours, 1.2%, but we got Bitcoin at $89,000. And most of the altcoins have been absolutely slaughtered. And we all know that we can get rich in crypto. We just don't know for sure how long it's going to take. But once again, guys, like rather than just taking your paycheck and investing it into crypto and waiting for someday, hopefully it appreciates and creates $1 million or more in potential value for you that you can then invest and create passive income with. Guys, what if we made 2026 the year that we were going to focus on creating passive income in our life? What if we made 2026 the year that we were going to work on income streams? And guys, I want to be very clear about this. I'm not telling any of you to go quit your job and go focus on creating passive income. One of the great things about passive income is you can do it on the side. In fact, I would say that the majority of people should have a job. Having the job gives you the foundation. It gives you the base income to take care of your bills and to take care of your life and to take care of some of the stresses that come from entrepreneurship And I'm not saying that any of you should quit your jobs and jump into creating passive income streams. I'm telling you to do it on the side. Keep your job, keep your bills paid, but have this awareness that if you could create a $5,000 a month income stream, you'd be a millionaire. I loved it when I heard this, and it's so powerful because the idea of trying to grind out and save $1 million is a daunting task for almost all of us. The idea of figuring out a way to create $5,000 a month in passive income, to me, that sounds pretty darn doable. And and there's a lot of us on this channel right now that are on our way, that are working on it. So there's a lot of different things that you can do. Once again, like, you could create a lot of value by figuring out something that you're good at. And you would be amazed. Like, maybe you're good at working on cars, and you could create a little bit of a YouTube channel that showed you maybe, flipping cars. Like, you go out and you drive around the neighborhood and you find cars that are just sitting there parked, and you could tell they've been there for a while, and you put a little note on the car saying, hey, would you like to sell your car? I had a guy do that to me a few years ago. I sold two cars that were sitting in, one in my driveway and one on a side street that I hadn't driven in months. Guy put a note on the car. We got together. He bought both of my cars, and I know he bought them to resell them. He took my cars and he went and did whatever he did with them. Maybe he did it himself. Maybe he took them to a shop. I don't know. My point is, I even think about it, like where I live here in Kingman, Arizona. For whatever reason, there are a ton of old used cars that are just kind of broken down, or that are just sitting there that aren't getting driven. And I think to myself, man, I'm not mechanically inclined, so it wouldn't be a good business for me. But this would be an incredible area for somebody that knew how to work on cars to go put notes on these cars and say, hey, are you interested in selling these cars? And then when the person says yes, you give them, a low ball price, because you're going to have to spend a few hundred, maybe even a few thousand fixing it up. But my point is, if you documented that, there's a lot of people on this earth that probably are somewhat mechanically inclined, that would probably be willing to watch your YouTube channel, which creates some residual income, some passive income. You say it's not totally passive. Yeah, you still got to make a video. But guys, if somebody watches a video that I made 4 years ago, YouTube is still paying me for that. So this YouTube channel is a way of creating some passive income. But my point is, I wouldn't just do a YouTube channel. What I would do is I would document the process, and then I would sell a course. I would sell a course for whatever, $49, $99, $499, $4,999, whatever the market could bear. But if you can walk somebody through that process on, hey, today we're going to today we're just going to drive around the neighborhood, and you filmed that. You filmed yourself driving around the neighborhood. And that car right there, that car's been there for a while. That might be a good car. That car's been there for a while. That might be a good car. And then you said, okay, let's go ahead and put some notes on some cars. And you showed people the note, the wording, what you said. And then you show people, you got text messages or people calling you back saying, yeah, I'm interested in selling my car. You walk somebody through that whole process from A to Z. Now the last step is you're selling the car and you're collecting the money. Would that be valuable? Yeah, there's a lot of people out there that are hurting right now. If you could show them how to buy a car, fix it up a little bit, and sell it for a profit, and they could do that in their spare time, making a few hundred extra dollars or a few thousand extra dollars a month, would somebody potentially be willing to pay you for that course? Absolutely. So once again, how much is that worth? $49, $99, $500? I don't know. But if it was worth even $99, you would only need 50 people in the whole world that were interested in buying and selling cars on the side, making a nice income in order to create a $5,000 a month passive income stream for you, because you're going to record the course once and then it's going to sit there and sell. You know, in other words, like, I don't have the book with me right now, but this gentleman sold a book called Trash Man to Cash Man. And long story short, this book was written, I think he said, in like 2005. So it's been around for 2006, 19 years ago, he wrote this book. This book is still making him on average around $100,000 a year. It's a $20 book. And he sells enough of them every year to still make around $100,000 on a book that he wrote 20 years ago. He's got another book that he wrote about 4 going on 5 years ago that makes him another couple $100,000 a year. Just these 2 books make him several $100,000 a year, and he only had to write them one time. So guys, there's a million different ways that you can create a $5,000 a month passive income and then go from there. And so I'm going to give you guys, you know, the ability to go watch that video. But my point is, like, I love crypto, but I mean, if any of you are like sitting at home kind of wanting to cry yourself to sleep at night because crypto is not cooperating, I know the feeling, man. I know the feeling, and I get tired of kind of being helpless, if you will. Like, I cannot control the price of Bitcoin. There's nothing that I can do personally right now that's going to help Bitcoin go to a couple $100,000 a year. There's nothing that I can really do. I mean, yeah, you could say that this YouTube channel and educating people and stuff is helping, but my ability to actually move the needle and to really have any impact on the price of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is almost zero. And so when you're sitting here buying these cryptos and investing and putting your hard-earned money into them, and then you have absolutely zero control from there, it can be kind of frustrating. So this is also a little bit about taking some control in our lives. And so I am going to click over here, guys, and show you something, you know, super quick. I don't want to go into this too much, but when you're looking for ways to create passive income, remember, the ability to create passive income is the ability to have money coming into you, you know, whether you work or not. And so I will say real fast that my Texit coin miners and that business opportunity that comes with it is, you know, just been absolutely massive. Because I want to show you guys last week. So this is kind of me, and I want to just highlight so you can really see this. You see this 3 here on the left? If I get a 3 on the left and a 3 on the right, I make $1,000. And I have 3 of these spots. So you can see this week, I already have 3 points on the left and 1 point on the right. 2 more points on the right. What is the right? Well, the right is everything underneath this Bradley V right here. So every single person underneath this side, and this goes down levels and levels and levels. Like if we go over here and we click on expand on the right-hand side, this goes out and there's a bunch more people. My point is, if Kevin here, so I've got Kevin and then Greg, and then it goes down from there. If anybody, Kevin, Greg, if any of these people that you're seeing here sell somebody a Texit coin miner, somebody gets excited about the ability to create passive income in their life with a Texit coin miner, and there's 2 more points created over here, I'm going to make $1,000. You can see I've got 9 points here. So if I get 3 points here this week underneath Greg and all of these people that are down under here, 3 points would make me $1,000. Up to 9 points would make me $3,000, whether I'm the one selling the miners or not. Now, I can sell people miners and then I could put them down here in underneath Greg somewhere and help myself. But same thing over here. You see, I've already got 3 points. Joel and all of the people underneath Joel here already created 3 points. So 3 points over here from Jeff and from any of these people all the way down, and I would make $1,000. Now, of course, I'm still sharing Texitcoin and making and working on it, so it's not 100% passive. But guys, I'm also just on this account, I'm also up to 3,300 hash power, which is 33 miners. That means I've got 33 miners spitting off passive income to me every single day. On top of that, guys, something else that I've been working very hard on that you guys are going to start hearing more is I've been working with a company called Trusted Smart Chain. So see if this works. No, that's not going to work for me. So let's go right here. That's my son's account because he's been smart enough to get himself a Trusted Smart Chain node. But I've got 5 Trusted Smart Chain nodes. Now, once again, full transparency, I am an affiliate for this company. I do have the ability to sell people Trusted Smart Chain nodes, but I've got 5 of these Trusted Smart Chain nodes, and they've been earning me some money. You can see at this point in time, I've got 54 TSC tokens, TSC rewards from owning these nodes. These tokens right now are worth a little over $2,200. All I've done was get these nodes in place. So far, I haven't been referring anybody really yet. Obviously, if some of you are watching this and you get in touch with me, I could help you get a node. But this is just from the nodes that I own. And you can see, this is the rewards that I've been getting on a daily basis. And this has just been building up here now got these in October. So October and November. So now I've got these tokens coming through these nodes that are creating passive income. I've got 40 miners because I didn't pull up the other accounts, but I've got 40 of these Texitcoin miners that are creating passive income. And then, like I said, and I've got this Texitcoin business. So last week I'm going to show you this real fast. So there's my commission. And we look at pending, I've got $2,000 coming in pending commissions last week. And if we go to approved commissions, you can see that I made 1,000, 1,000, 1,000, and 3,000 in the last month. That's just on this account. So when I'm talking about commissions, that's just on this position right here, this very top position. I can go in here. In fact, real fast, I'll show you guys so that you don't think I'm lying to you. If I go in here and I click into the other account, my Brad V7007 account, where is that at here? Here we go. So this is a different account. And we go over here to the placement. You'll see real quick. This looks a little bit different. This just shows Jeff and Joel. It doesn't show the other Brad V's. So you can see it's a different spot. But if we look at the commission on this, you can see here I've got a pending commission for $2,000. This is just for last week. So that's $4,000 that I made last week. And then if you go to approved, you can see here, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 3,000. So over the last month, this spot has made multiple thousands of dollars. And what I want to do last but not least here, guys, I want to share with you the last part of this equation, showing you why a lot of this is passive income. The very last person that I personally brought in, you can see here, was on December 6th. And then before that was December 1st. And then before that was November 22nd. So in the last month, I've brought 3 different people in that bought a miner, and they all bought one miner. This star represents one miner. If we go down here a little bit further, we can get to some people that have bought like 9 miners. This person bought 5, this person bought 9. But if we go up, just these people just got one miner. So in the last month, I've helped 3 different individuals buy one miner, yet I have made in the last month $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $6,000 on this spot. And I just showed you multiple thousands of dollars on that other spot. And I'm not going to pull up the third spot, but it's basically the same thing. But I want to give you guys, once again, if you look at this, I personally haven't brought anybody in personally since December 6th. Yet I still made $4,000 last week. Well, how did that happen? Well, I'll show you super fast here. I'm not going to go into great detail, but I have a gentleman on my team here that's underneath my wife's leg named William Volempest. So William Volempest bought a gift card last week for his business. So he bought a gift card where his business got 3 miners plus 1 free, and he got 1 free. So that counted as a 3 miner sale. And then he also, if you go over here onto this side over here, because he's building, everybody here underneath William is brought in, not me. William jumped in with a 9-pack, and then William's been bringing people in. Well, over here last week, he brought in Mario, and then Mario brought in his son, and his son bought a 3-pack. So that was 6 points created by Bill and Mario. If we flow back up through here, you can see that flows all the way up through Joel to this spot right here. So there was 9 points there last week. So that gave me 9 points over here. Well, on the other side, on this side, if you go down a little ways underneath Chad, swear to goodness, I didn't mean to talk this long, but we've got Dr. David Bertner here. And Dr. David Bertner had brought in his son-in-law, Ahmed, and then they brought in Mojo Properties. Mojo Properties bought 9 miners, but they bought them 3 at a time. 3 of those miners were bought last week. That created 3 points. And then they also bought a gift card last week because they wanted to, excuse me, I got to go over here. On this side, bought a gift card because they own a gymnastics business. And so they wanted their gymnastics business to have some gift card. But look at this, guys. Like, you're seeing how crazy this spreads out. My point is they bought another gift card. So they created 6 points, flowed up. 3 points from each of those flowed up to this spot right here. So there was 9 points in this leg and 6 points in this leg. That made me $2,000, guys. I didn't sell any of those miners myself, but I made $2,000 on this Bradley V. And then if you go up, those points flowed up here, and that created 9 points up here on this Bradley V. And if you go over here to Kevin, well, Kevin has a brother named Kerry. Oh, for goodness sakes, if we go over here underneath Sarah, you can see Kerry. And if you get under here underneath Kerry, you can see that Kerry has been building. Well, if we go one more, let's go out to the right side here, see exactly where that is. You can see that Kerry on 12/18, Weldon Restorations got a 3-pack here. So Weldon Restorations got 3. That flowed all the way up through here all the way up through Kevin and ended up over here, giving me points here and giving me points here. So this line over here brought in 6 points to go along with the 6 points I had over here. That's how I made the 2,000 up here. So last week I made $4,000 through Texitcoin, and I didn't sell one miner. I just showed you right here. Last person that I personally brought in was on December 6th. Yet I made $4,000 last week. I'm not here to tell you that you guys need to get into Texitcoin. What I am here to tell you is find something in your life that doesn't require you to do all of the work all of the time. That's one of the main problems with a job, is that it's all you all the time. And if you're not there working, then you're not making any money. Guess what? David Bertner in that example made, I think it was $2,000 or $3,000. Kevin Weldon, who is Carrie's brother, you know, Kevin Weldon up above, he made a couple $1,000s last week. Carrie, who was the one that did the majority of the work, made a couple $1,000s, but that flowed up. And Kevin made some money, I made some money, and like a lot of people are making money, but it all flows up. And like I said, so I've had, you know, we're talking about, you know, 2 weeks, you know, a couple of weeks, December 6th through December 22nd, 16 days. So the last 2 weeks, I made $4,000 last week and $3,000 the week before. So that's $7,000 that I made in 2 weeks where I technically didn't do any of the work myself. So once again, what can you do? What can you find where you can create some leverage in your life where you don't have to be there all of the time? Like this week, you know, I didn't show it, but like Chad, he's above David. Chad bought a gift card for somebody that was 3 points. So, I mean, I guess I will show it super, super quick. So these 3 points here that you're seeing here, these are because Chad bought a gift card. Chad is way over here. Chad bought a gift card, which is a 3-pack, and all those points, you know, flow up. But here I am this week. None of these sales happened, you know, yesterday. So basically this is just carryover. 3 points here, 3 points here. Like I've already got the ability to make $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 over here, already brewing from last week's efforts. I didn't bring up the screen, but that's okay. Anyways, I'm going to shut up. I ended up going for over an hour. Doesn't matter how short I decide I want to be in the beginning. Just, it's always an hour-long live stream. It's like a miracle if we ever get out of here in less than an hour. But I highly recommend, guys, go watch this video, please. I guarantee you, you will be like, man, that Brad is an idiot compared to this guy. And I recommend subscribing to his channel. His name's Myron Golden. He comes out with a video on Monday every single week. He also has a Myron Golden Bible study, and he comes out with a video on Wednesdays from his Bible study. So you can, through his regular YouTube channel, you can, you know, Google and find his Bible study. His Bible study is amazing too. And a lot of times I get more inspiration almost and more real life strategy, how to have a successful life, financially, relationship wise, and every otherwise. A lot of times his Wednesday Bible study is more valuable to me almost than his just straight business Bible study is on Mondays. So I definitely recommend going, watching that video, and subscribing to his channel, adding him to the list of people that you are spending time with. With that, folks, if there is any of you that have been sitting on the sidelines that are interested in learning more about how you can get Texitcoin miners going to work for you and how you could grow a Texitcoin business such as the one that I'm growing that could make you $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, all the way up to $9,000 a week, shoot me a DM here real fast. I guess I'll make life easy on you guys if I could pull this up real quick. This is the other way that you can get in touch with me, guys. If you don't have a miner yet and you would like to get a miner or just find out more about how it all works, Call me or text me at 725-275-8259. Call or text me 725-275-8259 if you would like more information about the Texit coin miners, or if you would like more information about the trusted smart chain nodes. Either one, I'm happy to hop on a Zoom and really get all of your questions answered and go from there. With that, guys, tomorrow we got the Tuesday Trader live stream. That's going to be interesting to see what's going on with these markets and what kind of value we can provide tomorrow, because, man, trading right now it's volatile. It's crazy. Everything is so up in the air that it's really hard to give incredible advice on trading, but I'm going to do the best that I can to walk you through and show you some of the trades that I have in play, and add some value to you on the trading platform, tomorrow. So with that, guys, thank you all for watching. God bless. I hope you're having an amazing day, and I look forward to seeing you all again tomorrow morning. Bye-bye for now.